Hello there. August 5th, 2018. My name is I.A.Kaufman. I'm a painter. I'm an expressionist painter. I've been painting now for approximately 60 years. And drawing longer than that. I took lessons when I was much younger from my aunt, who was an amateur painter. And yeah, I've just been drawing all along, and the point of this video is to exhibit some of my expressionist works and to give a little of my take on what exactly is Expressionism and where does it come from, what's this kind of history of it. And like I say, I've been painting for many years. In New York in the 60s, I was a member of the Broader Cooperative Gallery, which was a gallery started and originally run by John and Nick Krushnick. Nick became sort of successful, and yeah, he went uptown and was doing pretty well, so he left the Broader Gallery, and the Broader Gallery, they had a frame shop in the back which they did restorations and museum works and all kinds of things there. In any case, I was a member of the Broader. I was voted in approximately 63, I think it was. And John Kruchnik told me, Ira, you know, you were voted in it was tremendous, very much, how do you say, it was a big thing that I got voted in by a great majority. And actually I was voted in by one person, against people who didn't want me there, who didn't want me there, didn't think that what I did was for them. And he meant it, so I guess it was a matter of who voted that made him say that, because I never got an individual breakdown and never wanted to. But in any case, the year that, okay, I can talk too much, and I don't want to talk that much. I want to give a basic history of who I am and Expressionism, of what that is. Originally, Expressionism, you can even trace it back to the Rakar cave paintings. I mean, there's definitely Expressionism there. And if you want to jump a couple thousand years, you know, Rembrandt is also definitely an Expressionist. I still haven't said what it is, because in words it's very difficult to put it into a framework. But anybody who wants to confront the idea that Rembrandt was an Expressionist just has to take a look at the painting called The Batavians. Case closed. Okay, next. Now, I spoke a little about the history of Expressionist painting. I'll get on to more of this if there's any demand for this sort of thing, and any interest. I just want to display here a particular Expressionist painting that I have done recently. I can't keep saying Expressionist painting, it's nonsense. Painting I've done recently. This is in the genre of biblical subjects. This is Yael and Sisera. Well, I think in English it would be called Sisera, and Yael would be called Yale, as the university, which was named after Yael, obviously. And Yael is putting a tense bolt into Sisera's head. And well, the whole story that goes on there, if anyone is interested to see what the story behind this is, they can open to the prophets and the book of Deborah, and you will see Deborah, and you'll see there the whole story of how this came about. In any case, this is Expressionism. I didn't know I was an expressionist because I didn't know what the heck it meant and what it indicated. But I sort of naturally gravitated to it. I came to realize, perhaps when I was in my mid-50s or so, that I'm an expressionist. And all the things I've been doing all my life are expressionism. My auntie, who gave me my first lessons in artwork, she used to tell me, what are all these monsters you're painting? I guess we have to paint monsters to be an expressionist, perhaps. But anyway, this is what it appeared to her to be, in her concept of conservative viewpoint on the subject. Of course, I got to give her credit, man. She was my legal guardian and had me enter visual arts according to the talent that I had displayed. And okay, anyway, I'm going to show another painting or two here. Make it more interesting, perhaps, and hopefully so. Yeah. If I go out, then this will automatically focus on this picture. And here I'm back, and I'll tell you the subject matter of this picture. It's a picture of a great rabbi who was a mystical rabbi, and who was the founder of modern Hasidus. This is the Baal Shem Tov, and we call him the Holy Baal Shem Tov. I'm a Hasid, by the way, a Breslov Hasid. And the Baal Shem Tov would travel to do certain mystical works. And he would travel with Hasidim, and they would travel in a wagon, and a horse and wagon, and their wagon driver was Alexei, who was a Gentile, and Alexei would fall asleep, and in the interval, the horse and wagon would transverse hundreds or thousands of miles to get to the point where the Baal Shem Tov was going to do whichever mystical fixings he had to apply in that particular area. And up here, as you see, it's called a little town that you might see in Chagall paintings, more or less, those old towns, all in Europe and Eastern Europe. And yeah, that's about it. Make from it what you will. This is a story, and we don't ask questions on stories, but the stories that came out from this are extremely mystical, interesting, and full of moral qualities. In any case, I'm gonna put another one up. These are generally quite recent. This is a painting I did recently. I think this is the last painting I've done. It was a carp. I bought it. It was cleaned out, its guts and everything. Didn't have any eggs in it. Unfortunately, this is not the season. Carps have eggs, which are very nice to eat. And put it in a dish. And over here is some grapes that I had growing outside on my grapevine. They're Cabernet. Not Cabernet Sauvignon, Cabernet, and whoever knows what that difference is, who knows. In any case, and a bottle of brandy, some other things, and here's my my dear wife in the kitchen, either washing dishes or preparing something good to put on the on the table. And there's a couple of my paintings on the wall. It's a still life, obviously. I don't have to say that. And I'm certainly not going to say again it's an expressionist painting, which is fairly stupid to keep repeating again and again. Probably I'll have to try to put in a framework of what that actually means. Oh, by the way, this painting maybe I'll put on the easel next, because it tells an interesting story. Expressionism is, just as the name implies, it's giving off an expression. It's the antithesis of conceptual art, you might say. And what's for sure, the art of the conceptual might be a great deal more fugitive than expressionism, because as I say, expressionism can be pointed out in ancient history before mankind was able to read and write, basically, until right now, when we still have practitioners. There's a fellow in England, and where we have J. Myler, who's an abstract expressionist, a good friend Simon, and well, I'm doing it. I'm sure there's plenty of other artists who ignore the fugitive and here today and gone tomorrow type of thing, and are involved honestly. I'm not saying that that conceptual artists are not involved with their heart and with their mind in what they're doing. My take on it is that it's fugitive in a sense that I would try to explain, but I don't want to bring any critic on anything else. I just want to explain what I'm doing and where this is coming from. Okay, Expressionism, it expresses something, and if it's successful, you know it. I mean, because I came to know it slowly, because I was just doing it. And I understood, and I came to understand an interesting point that a friend of mine, he should rest in peace, he was a great painter. His paintings were more than a bit macabre. I.A.Kaufman.My, who I knew in the 60s. I left America in the early 70s, late 60s. And I.A. mentioned to me that art is put in museums in order to protect the public from it, which might seem a bit, first of all, it's comical, you know, it's you can laugh on such a thing, but actually it's deeper than that. I've seen it. I've thought about it because I've had people react to my paintings. When you look at a painting, you look at a piece of art or hear a piece of music, and you're affected by it. So you have an emotional response. Now, there are a lot of people who this doesn't sit right with them. They feel that they're being imposed upon. They feel that they're being confronted. A person, if they feel they're being confronted, whether it's the fantasy or just a thought, their instinct for self-protection comes into play. And this all may be on an unconscious level. It upsets a person has a certain box of what they feel safe in. I can refer back now to a conversation I just heard, I loved it, from, what's her name? Jordan Peterson and, what's that other gentleman's name? I wrote it down. something with Christie something, and there was, sorry I didn't remember the name, the gentleman's name. He was quite a deep thinker, and they were discussing in any case the left and the right side, the left and the right hemisphere of the brain, which the left hemisphere controls the right hand, and this is the conservative, and this is where the instinct, obviously, from self-protection must be located. And the right side of the brain controls the left hand, which is the exploratory, and it's constantly looking and searching for answers, and it's not afraid to go into the unknown in order to grasp new concepts, so to speak, to learn. But the right side of the brain says, no, if you're going to learn this, I'm sorry, the left side of the brain, which is the right hand, says if you're going to learn this, it's going to confront you with something that you believe, and it can offend you, it can change you, it can make life difficult. Stay in a safe and easy course. Don't involve yourself with this. Put a protection. Put a protection. And this is what's the response to the confrontation that a person is giving the emotional response. And that's why it goes a little deeper when we say, and I've seen this. I've seen people who have been upset by having an emotional response from artwork. If I may be so bold as to say even my own artwork. I don't make it as an intentional thing. If I'm making it as an intentional confrontation to people and to things as they stand, I would be changing from expressionism to conceptualism, which I'm not interested in. I'm not interested in confronting anything. I'm interested in producing my art and appreciate it, and yes, then I'm happy. And I've been made happy now and then, pleasantly, in this regard. I'll show you another painting, and I'll give you a small thing, because it's actually this painting, and there was something interesting that came out maybe underneath the lower levels of the consciousness. Just a moment. This is also a painting that is very recent. This is the house of my next door neighbor, who passed away within the past year and a half. And this is the house of his brother-in-law, who also had passed away within that time, that time frame. They both had different illnesses of the same thing. We shouldn't know from such illnesses, but they were gone. And one day I sat in my garden and I painted these houses, and I painted two forms, two Hasidim, coming down the street greeting each other. And then I realized,